Hello everyone, and welcome to another X-Wing Miniatures Battle Report. This time we will be taking the Scum and Villainy faction up against the Empire, and we'll be highlighting some of the new Wave 7 ships. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 100-point list we have today. Alright, so I will be taking the Scum and Villainy faction. My ships will be the Bosk flying the YV666. He's got the upgrade that will let him deploy a Z95 if it gets destroyed. Plus he's got Crack Shot and Glitter Stem. Then we have Talonbane Cobra, and he's got Lone Wolf. Then we have just a generic Cartel Spacer and a Binaire Pirate. So these guys are just stock low pilot skill cannon fodder. So that comes into exactly 100 points of Scum and Villainy. Next up we have the Empire, flown by Jake. Jake, you want to describe what you've got here?
Yeah, so over here first I have a Punisher, Redline, the highest skilled Punisher. He's got ion bombs, two sets of cluster missiles, auto thrusters, and advanced sensors. And then over here I have Rear Admiral Shirenyu. He has the engine upgrade, gunner, and push the limit.
Sounds good. So 2 ships, and this is 100 points on the nose as well?
Yes.
Alright. Alright, so we've rolled off for initiative. The Scum and Villainy won the roll-off. We've placed our asteroids and deployed. So here's the Scum and Villainy deployment in this corner, and then on the opposite side we've got the Punisher and the Rear Admiral. So it's going to be corner to corner. I think we're going to go ahead, since no one will probably be shooting this first round, go ahead and do all the movements and then come back, and once we get a little bit closer we'll go into details with our moves. So on to turn 1. Alright, so here's the movement. After turn 1, the ships just kind of are making a beeline towards the Imperials. Over here, the Imperials, what these guys do,
They just went straight ahead.
Straight
3
ahead.
and 4.
So that puts them there. So it looks like we'll probably be getting into firing range this turn. So we'll go ahead and start turn 2. Okay, recap turn 2. Still out of firing range. The Imperials keep course up along the table edge, and the Scum and Villainy has swooped around and is heading that way. Alright, first up is my Z95. He's making a 2 bank. Let's see if he can avoid the asteroids here. It's going to be close. But he does. And he will focus. Alright, then my SIC, the Cartel Spacer, is going to be going 3. Bank. And we'll evade. And then Bosk in the Houndstooth, he's going to go 3 forward, which gets rid of his stress. And he will focus.
Alright, so the Punisher is going to do a gentle 1. And for his actions, he's going to use his special pilot ability. So he's going to target lock twice.
So you're target locking the Houndstooth.
Alright, and then my Decimator is going to do the same maneuver as well. And for his action, he will focus.
Alright, lastly we have Talonbane here. He's going to go 3 forward. And he's going to focus. Alright, at the start of the combat phase, Bosk here in the Houndstooth is going to activate Glitter Stem. So he's got that going on. So he can change any eyeballs into hits or evades for this turn. So looks like he's going to be the target of the Punisher, so we'll see what we can do to help him survive. Alright, so Talonbane here in his Kirax fighter is going to be shooting at the Punisher. So it's range band 3, 3 dice, and we've got 2 hits, and that's 2 hits. Alright, just a quick recap here. Because I used Glitter Stem, that card will be gone, and I did receive a stress for using Glitter Stem. So next up, the Rear Admiral here's range band 2 attack onto the Houndstooth. Alright, so here is the Rear Admiral's attack. The defense, we evade the 1 hit. So Gunner's going to kick in.
Yep, I'm going to use Gunner.
One hit. And no evades this time. Alright, so next up at Pilot Skill 7, Houndstooth is firing at the Punisher. So that's going to be a 3 dice attack at range band 2. So with Glitter Stem, I do get to change these to hits. So that's 2 hits. So that's 2 hits onto the Punisher. Alright, next up we have the Punisher. What is that doing, Jake?
Alright, so the Punisher is using its cluster missiles, and so it's going to spend one of its target locks in order to use it. So I get to perform a 3 dice attack twice.
So, 2 crits and a hit, and my evade is an evade, so that's 2 hits onto Bosk. Alright, and the second attack. 2 more hits, and an evade, so that's 1 more hit on Bosk. Alright, next up, the Sick is going to be firing into the Punisher, so range band 2, 2 dice attack. So 2 hits.
Nothing.
So that's a hit and a crit.
Alright, so the critical is Major Hull Breach. Starting the round after you receive this card, all damage cards dealt to you are dealt face up.
Ouch. Alright, so Punisher's down to 3 hull points. And last, the Z95 is going to be shooting at the Punisher. So it's 2 dice at range band 3 through an asteroid. So here we go. We'll spend our focus to change that into hit, so that's 2 hits, Jake. So it's range band 3, so you should get 1 die for that and 1 die for the asteroid.
Nothing.
1 more die for the asteroid I'm shooting through.
Hey!
So 1 more hit. Alright, here's a recap of turn 3. Basically that Punisher was hit pretty hard. Bosk took some damage but still has shields. So here you can see the layout. Alright, so here we have the cards. Bosk has lost 4 shields. He has 2 left. Everyone else is undamaged, although Glitter Stem has been used. And over here, the Punisher's lost all its shields and has taken 4 hits and has a major hull breach going on, so he might take some more damage next turn. So he's pretty close to destroyed. And the Rear Admiral, however, is ready to roll. He has no damage. Alright, so on to turn 4. Alright, first up is my Z95. He's going to go 3 forward, try to avoid that asteroid. Doesn't look good. And he's on the asteroid. Next up, my Sick. He's going to do a 1 turn. And he will barrel roll. Alright, next up is Bosk. He's going to go 1, which gets rid of his stress. And he's going to crash into this Z95. Which is going to put him right about there. And since he crashed, no action. Alright, next up.
Alright, so for my Punisher, I'm going to use Advanced Sensors and flip my critical hit face down. And then I will go 3 straight. Can fit there.
So the Punisher did actually clip the Z95 before crashing into Bosk, so Bosk is going to be free to shoot at him next turn. All right, Chairman.
All right, so my decimator is going to do a gentle 1. Oops. And for his actions, he is going to push the limit, which will make him stressed. However, he will get a target lock on Bosk and a focus.
All right, Talonbane is going to go a 1 bank, and that will crash into the Rear Admiral. And before the shooting phase, just to give you kind of an overview shot of the battle, I think we couldn't squeeze our ships into a tighter little spot than if we had tried. So we're going to go straight into shooting. Alright, so Talonbane doesn't have a shot, so the Rear Admiral is going to be firing into Bosk. So 4 dice. Spend that target lock.
Nope, I won't use it, so I can use Gunner.
Alright.
And I will focus.
And then 1 evade, so that's 3 hits. So 3 hits on Bosk removes his last 2 shields, and he takes Blinded Pilot. You cannot perform attacks. After your next opportunity to attack, flip this card face down. So he is blinded. Alright, so that Blinded Pilot really screws over poor Bosk here. He can't shoot, so that will flip over his critical hit, but it allows that Punisher to punish him. So here we go. Alright, so next up, Jake, what are you doing?
Alright, so I got my second round of cluster missiles.
Alright, so you gotta spend a target lock for that?
Spend that target lock. And first wave, nothing.
Alright.
Second wave, 2 hits.
And that's 2 hits. Alright, so recap. Bosk has lost all his shields. The Z95 lost 1 shield, crashing into an asteroid. And since we didn't shoot this turn, we're flipping over our critical damage. Bosk has 3 hull left. Over here, we really didn't do much to the Empire, so the Punisher is still sitting on 4 damage cards, has 2 hull points left. That's pretty much it. So on to turn 5, I believe. Alright, first up's my Z95. It's going to turn, which is going to get him off the asteroid and put him here, and he will focus. Alright, first up's my Z95. It's going to turn, which is going to get him off the asteroid and put him here, and he will focus. Next up is the Sick. It's going to do a 1 turn into the back of the Rear Admiral, and it will crash. Alright, the Houndstooth is 1 banking, which is just going to crash him right about there.
Alright, so for the Punisher's turn, before he moves, he's going to drop his bomb. And that is the new proton bomb from the Punisher expansion. And for his movement, he's going to go 4 ahead.
So he makes a K turn.
Yep.
And is stressed.
Alright, so the Decimator is going to go ahead and go 4 straight. Just try to clear everyone. And he is still stressed.
Alright, lastly, Talonbane here is doing a 4K turn. which will stress him out.
Alright, so at the end of my activation phase, the proton bomb, or the ion bomb, sorry, will detonate. It hits everyone at range band 1, and it will give them 2 ion tokens. So it will hit 3 of the Scum ships.
Well, forgot that the Punisher had that mine, so 3 of my Scum ships are now ionized. The top of the combat phase, Talonbane is going to be firing range band 3 onto this Punisher. So that's going to be 3 dice. And we've got 1 hit. And 1 evade.
Alright, the Rear Admiral is shooting 4 dice into your ship. 4 shots. Alright, and I will use my target lock to... Oh, actually, I'll use his ability on that focus. So, I will turn that focus into a critical. And then I will use my target lock on that last one. So still nothing.
So 3 hits is enough to kill Bosk. He's destroyed. So out comes Natasha Pup. Alright, so I deployed the pup right there. We assumed it was within range band 1 of the Hound. If I've got that wrong, go ahead and please leave your comments. But anyway, so you deploy the pup before you remove the destroyed ship. So now we remove it and we continue the game. Alright, so Jake's firing his Punisher at the newly revealed pup. So that's a 2 dice attack at range band 2. We score 2 hits. And that will be 1 hit. Sick firing at range band 2 into the Punisher. So that's going to be a 2 dice attack. And we get nothing. Alright, here's an overview of the game so far. That's where the Houndstooth was. It is now destroyed. The Pup Z95 has launched. We'll take a look at the damage. Alright, so Houndstooth is destroyed. The Pup has lost 1 shield. Otherwise, the other Z95 is also down a shield. Here on the Empire side, we didn't do any damage to these guys, so they're still the same as they ever were. Alright, first up, we're going to activate the ionized Z95. It just moves 1 forward and lands on an asteroid. The ion tokens are gone, and we don't take any damage. Then the 6 is going to move. It's moving 1 forward, so the ion tokens are gone. And it is right there. And it will evade. Next up is the Puff at pilot skill 7. And I'm gonna land her on an asteroid. And we take a hit. That's her last shield.
Alright, so my Punisher is doing a 2 straight. Which will remove the stress. And with my action, I am going to boost, which I can't boost there, because it would hit me into the asteroid. So I will just go 1 forward. Alright, with my decimator, I am going to get rid of that stress. Do a gentle 2. And for my action, I will focus.
Alright, next up, the Talonbane is a 2 sharp. And he will focus.
It does not look good for the Punisher.
No. Alright, so Talonbane has the Punisher at range band 1. His special ability kicks in, so he gets an extra die for close range. So he's going to be showing rolling 5 dice at the Punisher. Here we go. And it's a good thing he's focused, so we'll change that to 4 hits.
And even with my 1 evade die, I couldn't stop it.
Alright, so he is destroyed. Okay, round out the Combat phase, the Rear Admiral's firing at the pup, range band 2.
3 shots.
You want to spend that focus?
Nope, I'll just reroll the whole thing.
Okay, so gunner.
And I will focus, and I will change 1 to a critical with his ability.
Alright, and then 2 evade dice. So the pup is destroyed. Alright, so at the end of the turn we have 3 Scum and Villainy ships left and an undamaged Rear Admiral. Alright, so just to wrap up, the pup was destroyed by the Rear Admiral and no other damage on the rest of my ships. And over here we finally down to that pesky Punisher, and the Rear Admiral is good. Alright, my Z-95 is going to fly through this asteroid. And it's going to take another damage.
Woohoo!
So that's its last shield. Alright, next up the Sick is making a 1 sharp. And let's see if he clears the asteroid. Oops. I think he hit it. So let's... He takes the damage.
Yeah. Alright, so the Rear Admiral is up. He is doing a hard 2.
Oh, come on, fly off the board.
And can you go ahead and give him a boost?
Sure.
That way. And the Admiral does have push the limit on, so I'm going to stress myself and give him a focus.
Alright, Talonbane. He's going to go 1 turn.
Hit the asteroid.
Alright, to the shooting phase. The Rear Admiral's firing at the Sick Interceptor at range band 3. I got 2 hits. And I got 3 evades.
Gunner. I will use my focus.
2 hits. And 2 evades. Alright, my Z-95. He's going to make a 2 turn. And hopefully avoid that asteroid. Next up, the Sick. Coming making a 1 turn. And will evade.
Alright, so the Admiral is going to go ahead and move. He's doing a gentle 2 to remove that stress.
Looks like he's going to go toe-to-toe with the Sick.
And then can you boost him to the right? Thank you. And his second action will be to focus.
Alright, next up is Talonbane. He's going to do a 2 sharp. And he will focus. Alright, first up in the combat phase, Talonbane's going to be shooting at the Rear Admiral. And
Nice.
will focus for 3 hits. Alright, so now the Rear Admiral is going to be shooting at Talonbane at range band 2.
Alright, 3 dice. Hey, 3 hits. And I will change 1 to a critical. Because I can.
Well, if you can find it on the die. And then... Oh, I should have kept my focus. So that's 1 hit and 2 crits on Talonbane. Alright, so Talonbane takes 1 hit, loses his shield. The first crit is... Thrust control fire, receive 1 stress token. And then flip this card down. And then the next one is... Direct hit, suffer 2 damage. So that is 3 damage, which is enough to Oh no, Talonbane has
One left.
4 hulls, so he's got 1 hull left. But he is stressed. Alright, first up, Z95 moves.
Is he gonna hit a rock?
He clears it with ease. And he will focus. Next up is the sick. 2 turn.
Will he crash? No, he's good.
And he will focus.
Alright, so the Admiral is going to go ahead and go. He is still stressed, but I decided to do a hard 3.
Hard.
Just so I could get out of some more fire arcs.
Oops. There you go.
Alrighty.
Alright, then Talonbane is on a suicide run. Sorry, he's going to go a 1 turn. Take it right into there, and he's still stressed.
Alright, so Talon is going to go ahead and shoot. 3 shots.
Alright, Talonbane into that guy. And we'll score 2 hits. Alright, so Rear Admiral's firing into Talonbane. Can he survive this gunner-assisted shot?
Hey, that was first miss.
2 hits.
And I will turn this one into a critical.
Alright, I need 2 evades. Here we go, 2 evades. No, that's 2 blanks. That's the opposite of what I needed. And Talonbane. And then last shot of the game, the sick is firing at range band 2 into the Rear Admiral. And it's a good thing we have our focus to turn that into 2 more hits. And here are the cards. Both my sick and my Z95 do not have shields, so they're naked. And over here, the Decimator has taken 3 hits out of 12, so he's down to 9 hull. So can the Scum pull out a victory? It's not looking good for him right now. Alright, next turn, Z95. So make it 2. And he will focus. Next up, the sick. He's making a 2 bank. And will focus.
Alright, so the Admiral is up. He's going to Gentle 2 so he can get rid of that stress token. And then he will go ahead and attempt to boost. So it looks like that one will not fit, so he will try to use the straight. See if that one's any better. And it's good. Alright, and he will, for his second action, he will go ahead and focus. Alright, so the Admiral is going to go ahead and take 2 shots at this Z95. We are at range band 2.
So it should be 3 shots.
So 3 shots. Alright, and we will use our focus and turn it into a critical.
2 hits, which is enough to destroy him.
Got him.
Alright, so I think we're going to call the game here. I don't think the sick has enough left in him to do enough to the Rear Admiral. He's still sitting on 9 hull points, so he's pretty healthy. So we're going to go ahead and call it here. Congratulations, Jake, on the victory.
Thank you.
And we'll talk a little bit about strategy, look at the cards here. Alright, so just look at the cards here, the Annihilated Scum and Villainy, and the Empire with that Decimator with still 9 health points left. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about strategy. Alright, so here's the wrap up, here's the Scum and Villainy force again, and the Empire. So Jake, what'd you think of the game?
I thought it went pretty well. I don't know if I'm totally set on the Punisher yet. The ion bomb is obviously a big upgrade instead of the seismic charge, I believe. I think we will have to start a new segment on this show called Things Jake Did Wrong. One thing I did wrong throughout it is the Admiral can only change that to a critical if it's a focus. So I think it would have benefited me as much as I handicapped me throughout the game. And also, there were times, I'm sure you were thinking, where you were saying, use the Punisher's auto thruster card, but I totally forgot about it most of the game. I don't think I used it once. But other than that, pretty strong force. The Admiral, that's a pretty meta setup to go with him, just so he can boost out of the way. Having a big ship boost is a big deal in tournaments.
So what do you think about the dual cluster missiles you had on this guy?
Dual cluster missiles was helpful. His ability of getting 2 target locks is pretty strong. However, it just makes him a big target. It's a lot of points putting into one bomber for sure.
Yep, and he has, what, 9 points total, 3 shield and 6 hull?
Yeah, correct. And that I didn't roll a single evade on it, so he took all the damage.
Alright, so the Rear Admiral pulls out the victory. That boost and gunner is a nasty combination. So over here, the Houndstooth really went down. The game changer for me was when I got the blinded pilot crit. Otherwise, that Punisher would have died in a hail of range 1 blaster fire from the Houndstooth. But that let the Punisher go, and then it was writing on the wall. He took out the Houndstooth the very next shooting. This Kirax fighter, Talonbane Cobra, is a pretty cool pilot. I couldn't get him into range band 1 except once, so he does have some neat stats, but he's pretty expensive. He's like a Scum version of Wedge. He's a heavy hitter. He did alright, but would have liked to see him perform better. I put Lone Wolf on him and never really got to use it. The Z95 and Sick, well, I piloted the Z95 pretty poorly. Hit some asteroids. But in my defense, the second asteroid was a well-placed ion mine that caused him to go in an asteroid. Not really anything I could do about it. The Sick also lost its shield hitting an asteroid because of an ion. So that was a good play on Jake's part to ionize 3 ships with 1 mine and not any of his own. The Natasha Pup, I have to take credit for landing her on an asteroid, and that was all she wrote. The Rear Admiral took care of her the next turn. So Jake gets a full win here, and we took a look at some Wave 7 ships. So please let us know what you think. Go ahead and leave a comment down below, and subscribe to our All Miniatures Great and Small channel. Thanks for watching. You guys have a great day.